listening to the Chronocask Podcast, pushing back against the insanity of this world with arguments that may or may not work. And here's your hosts, Josh the Gun Nerd and Ian the Beer Nut.
Hey, things are not slowing down out there. We've had all kinds of fun happenings in this wide world of ours. We haven't fully collapsed into
anarchy.
Anarchy.
It borders on that, depending on the day.
Yeah, it is. But
yeah,
hey, we're still here. God's still good, and
that's right.
And beer is still available. So,
yeah, there was a period of my life that that song.
God is great. Beer is good.
Yeah, people are crazy. It was just like, you know what? I can really relate to that.
Totally, totally. Yeah, that was a road song for a long time. So get in the truck, listen to that, decompress.
Right.
Didn't even need to have the beer; just had to sing about it.
Yeah, do deeper things undergird that for sure. You know, like not necessarily by the artist himself, but like we should have deeper things in that. But also sometimes you need to go down to the irreducible. Just like what do I know is true outside of
exactly? It's not just death and taxes. It's that God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. And that song will be a classic because of those lines.
Yep. Speaking of beer, before we launch into ice cold conversation, we're gonna crack open this Chronocask from Skookum. It is a barrel aged 10.8 in a 12-ounce can.
Nice. 10.8.
And
it used to be harder to find like double-digit ABVs. Ooh, that is muddy. Look at that.
Yep. It is
cool.
It drinks much. I mean, I just tasted a drop off my hand. Don't make that sound weirder than it is.
It looked really weird. You just sat there licking the back of your hand for way too long. We actually had to edit that out. Just this quiet slobbery.
And then you finally asked Ian, "Are you done yet?"
Yeah. You got lost in a moment.
And it tastes. Oh, if you told me nothing, I would say that's a barley wine.
Yeah, it does. It does have. I gotta re-blow my nose.
It is a Imperial Stout aged in 3 different whiskey and port barrels. A rich, complex flavor profile with notes of red wine, chocolate, and oak finish with silky mouthfeel. I think the port barrel is what makes it barley wine-ish.
Yeah, and kind of.
It's definitely muddy in
is.
appearance.
It really is. Like, it has that. It's like a hazy barrel age, which I've never heard of before. But maybe it's a new thing.
Like puddle water is what it looks like.
It really does. Not with that gross filmy layer from that cookie one we had recently.
No, but, it does not have that.
Yeah. No,
but it really is I don't know. I think it's that wine coming through.
It smells like, I can't remember if you're opposed to, you're opposed to sweets in general, but red velvet cake or whatever that is.
No, I'm not opposed to that. As long as the,
that's what it smells like.
Yeah, as long as the frosting isn't too sweet. But
tasted it yet because it's.
Yeah, I pick up a lot of the, especially on the back end, the wine notes really linger.
Yeah, wow, that just keeps going.
Yeah, I would say it's a complex profile.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to something that's just, baker's chocolate just sits there. That's for you.
I licked my hand for a while.
Yeah. Put some on your hand just to lick it.
Yeah, there is no baker's chocolate in this one.
No.
I can certify no baker's chocolate. No, it does have like some chocolate. It's got like, without being overly fruity, it's like some raspberryness to it.
Chronocask.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of berry-ish, yeah.
I'm really enjoying that. That's really good.
I mean, it's one of those that totally happy with a half can of it,
That's what's so fun about these is they're just like I would get tired of this if I had a full can of it.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like I don't know, like a dense chocolate thing that you just one little
Some
chocolate's
say
great.
Decadent.
I hate that. Petite.
Yeah.
But guys, is ice bad? It's
bad in whiskey.
Is law enforcement necessarily evil because there has been a bad shooting that has existed?
If it has yellow letters that say ATF, then probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I'm asking these questions because I'm actually a little confused what people are protesting. Because originally it started as, how dare you come after our fellow fill in the blank, migrants. And then it became, ICE is evil because they are proactively deporting these people. And the assumption in their protests is that these are loving people that are contributing to society in a positive manner, and their visa status shouldn't matter. That's a complex. It's a complex statement, I guess, where you're making a lot of assumptions, and at the end of it all, it actually shouldn't matter whether or not you're contributing to society. That's great, but if you came here illegally, then there's a process to get in here. And
there's a process to get you out.
Right. And they would say now, they're ripping people off the streets, and yeah, sure. Like you take some clips, you push them all together, and it looks like, yeah, you can make it. You can make a sales pitch that it's Gestapo or whatever. Yeah. Which is, except
that they're doing things that, regardless of how you feel about the Trump administration or really anything, they have tanked, as far as I'm concerned, the Trump administration. The Trump administration has tanked and over this whole thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, or they've actually just shown their true colors, which I think that's actually what it is.
Yeah, saying dumb stuff like, "Why was he carrying a gun?" Like, I'm just kind of ignoring statements like that where. Because I know there are conservatives who are jumping on the bandwagon of whatever is being said like that. Yeah. But I'm just trying to come at it from, okay, but the fact of the matter is they're deporting people that came here illegally.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to.
Not just legally. Because this is where the waters are muddied, where the beer is ditch water looking. It's actually... there's a lot of confusing angles where there's some constitutional grounds for things, there's legal and illegal grounds for things, and how to have a principled approach to it is like what you have to focus on when you look at this. Because do we talk about this last week? Do we have like all the?
No, I don't think we talked about. Maybe we,
because there's been a couple ice shootings. So
Yeah, we hinted at. The first one, we definitely talked about the first one. I don't know if we talked about Pretti at all.
Yeah.
Because there's been some funny developments with them. Like one of the major news outlets using like an edited, an AI photo of him or something that made him look a little more masculine.
Yeah, a little less horse-faced, a little less pale.
Yeah.
And then have you seen the meme that shows like the original?
And then him all jacked up.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that one. The one I saw was the original. He looks kind of, looks kind of weak and homeless looking, and then the second one, the one that CNN put out, was like, looked like he spent 4 or 5 days on the beach, kind of tanning, not so much horse faced, and then the third one was he was black, and I think that one was Netflix.
Yeah. Well, no, I saw one where he was just totally jacked out of his mind.
Nice.
But on both sides, I don't care if he was an ICU nurse that read their rights to veterans or whatever.
Yeah.
The left trying to bring that up, saying he was a super swell guy. Or on the other side saying, look, he kicked a federal officer's taillight out.
Yeah.
Those are circumstantial facts that that do not involve this incident. We're not actually assaulting his character one way or the other. Yeah. We're saying, was this justified? And so far, we've only really been given like a tiny little clip. Like we haven't seen I haven't seen the context. At least.
I've seen it from, I want to say 3 different angles now. And it looks bad every direction for him and Ice. Yeah. Like, amazing when you, like, we'll talk about intent and actual actions hopefully in a minute, but so he gets in the way of them pushing a woman out of the way,
conducting an operation of some sort.
And so then he injects himself into it, and then the ICE agents take him to the ground. He's kind of on all fours. It seems like you can't see it all the time because sometimes one of the ICE agents is blocking the way or whatever. But it seems like he pretty much stays with his hands planted on the ground, kind of in all fours, kind of arching his back, just trying to kind of turtle up. And then one agent finds the gun on his back. And at no point do I see him like pivoting. I don't see that 90-degree movement that goes, towards, his gun is like probably 4 inches behind his hip and just to the right of his spine. So it's, what would that be like, 4 o'clock? I usually carry like at 3 o'clock. It's like 4 o'clock. So it might have gotten moved back there. Maybe that's the way he likes it or whatever. And so they find it, they pull it from him, and one agent walks away, and some of the people right now are saying that it was a 320. Well, it was a 320, and that it possibly fired. And there's a grainy screen grab of it looking like the slide is back, but it could also be like the color of the jeans of the officer that was removing it from him.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were saying that his gun had an excellent discharge or that one of the officers with what they were carrying.
So somebody threw out the idea in the gun world that the 320 fired because we've talked about that before. 320s are known for the shake-awake triggers. This would be like the perfect example of that happening. I don't see conclusive evidence. I see possible evidence of that happening, but regardless, when he was shot, from the evidence that we can see as of this date and time, it looks like he was shot within a second of being disarmed. And I've heard between 5 and 10 times. So it might have been 10 times total, 5 from one agent and then the other ones from other agents or whatever. So if what I'm saying is true, that's a bad shoot. He was disarmed, but also you can understand that. So the situation when it comes to law enforcement, and I'm pro good law enforcement, and when law enforcement is acting badly, I'm against it.
And also pro good citizen.
Yeah, exactly. So here, we'll stick with this, and then we'll get into all the other things. But so then he gets shot, and he's on the ground. They're surrounding him and all that. He's put himself in a situation where he does have a gun, and he is actually injecting himself into a situation. Regardless, like, I want people that are against bad government doing things to get in their way. There needs to be more of that. But the situation is ICE is actually deporting illegal aliens, invaders, criminals. If ICE is involved, and it seems like ICE and Border Patrol is probably involved on this one. It seemed like it was a combination of the two. And I think that's one part of the narrative that is getting left out, is that a lot of people are just saying it's ICE. It seems like by the colors that were worn that it was both.
Seems like Border Patrol is aiding in a lot of these operations.
Yeah. So from what I understand, and this is just because I'm, my nerd research on this, it seems like Border Patrol is saying this person violated our border, we're taking him out. ICE is setting up a profile on the individual and finding out, like, okay, we're actually going against not just the criminality of crossing our border, but also that they're criminals here. And so they are actually setting up kind of a package to track down these people and get them for a variety of crimes. And then they're ejecting them from the country because not only did they get here improperly, but also they're just really bad people. Mm-hmm. So that's the crazy thing, that, you know, Border Patrol is doing the right thing in general, getting people out of the country that came here illegally. But ICE seems to be looking for the really bad people and then getting them out of here.
Yeah, I mean, like that agent who pulled up to the protester a week ago or so that said, "We're trying to catch either a child rapist or something like that, you know, and he's abusing children. So what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? You know, like, but also." It goes hand in hand with the fact that we can't even deal with our own criminals, let alone the ones that come here and do crime from other places. Yeah. We don't even deal with, like, we have repeat offender. The lady that got, you know, her eye not taken out, but almost, by Seattle courthouse.
The bolt stick thing.
Yeah, bolt sticking out of a stick. This dude just comes up and whacks her out of nowhere. Yeah. This old lady. And he had a ton of priors. You know, like, tell me how many times we've heard that story. Yeah. The lady that died, you know, we talked about, was at South Carolina. She was at a friend's house. She gets hauled out in the front yard and basically just executed. Yeah. And calling for her dad, you know. Jeez. And now her dad is on this mission to, you know, get people like this who had all these priors locked away. So we can't even deal with our own criminals, let alone, of course, people would oppose. We present the fact that they have priors as though that's going to convince somebody. Yeah. They're not even convinced that that's enough reason to get people out of here.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know and have worked with guys that came here illegally, literally came here as drug mules and used that as a way to eventually become legal citizens. Like, I worked with a guy named Teo back in the day. Him and I can't remember his brother's name. And so they were the best guys, like the most fantastic workers. If I could work on any crew, I wanted to work with them. They were just the best kind of people you could ever have. And so I asked him one time, like, so how'd you guys get here? And it was literally, they came in as drug mules. Teo, his brother, and his dad, and I think maybe another brother. And so, like, I get that people want to come here. Like, I'm sort of a Russophile, you know. I grew up kind of being sympathetic to Russians that hated their government and, you know, would stitch together balloons to fly, you know, across the borders to, you know, eventually make their way through Europe and back to the United States. Like, I want people to still seek our country as a refuge, but our country's jacked up right now, and we need to make sure that the family is secure before we start. As some wise man once said, like, start adopting in other people. Mm-hmm. We can't have
especially people that don't want anything to do with our culture.
Exactly. They're not here to make us better. We're not getting the best doctors and lawyers coming in from other countries.
Where's all that money from the Somalians going?
Yeah, you know? Like we just really, I think we stopped Somalians. Like, I hate to say this as like a general blanket kind of a, you know, don't allow a country and kind of thing, but like maybe Somalians just aren't the best right now. Yeah. You know, like
there's ulterior motives. Yep. It seems to be does that mean, I was going to say seems to be a widespread thing among Somalians, but does that mean that we go to World War II, you know, internment camp for Japanese? No. But it just means we're not admitting any people on the list for waiting to get visas and immigration status. Sorry, we're not accepting any from Somalia at this point. Yeah,
you've kind of just in general proven that you're not. I mean, are you a doctor that has never run a daycare clinic and has no interest in running one? Might probably make an exception, but but we're just not in. Our family's not healthy enough to allow you to come in right now. So, you know, it's
Minnesota, man. Like what? Yeah. What the heck is going on there?
But I don't want to get too far away because I do want to provide a different way. I want to help people to think through this. And so, like, this guy Pretti, he's legally carrying a gun. Yep. And I shot out a whole bunch of tweets after this. I usually try not to comment on these things right away, but some of these things were just kind of so obvious and so much needing some different thoughts on. But you can have somebody that has just decided to not carry, to carry without, like to carry as a constitutional understanding, like shall not infringe. Okay, so permits for carrying a gun are repugnant to the Constitution, and so they should be ignored in general. I'm just gonna say it as a principle. Like, there's reasons like you might want to have, a permit for your gun, just because some fights are worth fighting and some aren't. So I understand that, but we'll just take an example of Pretti, who is legally armed. He's legally where he's at, he can legally carry. From everything I understand, I'm not a lawyer. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn last night, but it seems like he's legally allowed to do what he's doing.
Yeah,
that can be done for nefarious purposes. Like I want to get a permit so that way when the cops try to bust me and I'm carrying a gun, then I can say, hey, I've got a permit to do it, even though I was planning on doing it, doing something wrong with my gun. One of the things that a lot of people said, including our Republican, president and many others in that ilk, they said, well, who's carrying, 2 magazines? And he was obviously wanting to do something bad. Man, that day I was carrying 35 rounds on me,
right?
Including my gun, and that was on me.
Right.
Close by me, I've got 60 rounds and a long gun, So,
you sound like a radicalist. Maybe a right-wing conservative
I'm
radical.
an absolutist. So here's like Josh's principles for carrying in crowds. First off, don't go to crowds.
Are you going to make a handbook out of that?
You know what? It's going to be short. If you're going to carry, don't go into crowds. If you're going to go into crowds and you're going to carry, don't get in the way of law enforcement whatsoever. Like, you will lose that battle. Like, no matter what, you just will. Like, I hate to say it. I mean, unless you've got a bunch of like female officers that are going to just dump megs in your general direction and stuff like that. That was totally just a way to just stick somebody in the side.
Yeah.
But like, just don't do that unless there's a principled reason. Like, if the ATF is in the crowd and they're going after somebody, like, here's the thing that kind of pisses me off is we've got all these guys that are going against these ICE agents that are doing something that is legally and constitutionally correct, like protecting our borders. We got people that'll go against them that are they're commies that just hate our country.
Yeah.
Why do we not have people that are rolling up on the ATF when they go after a guy that has broken no laws whatsoever? He's just done something that the ATF doesn't like.
Yeah. And
he's just selling guns for fun, not even for profit. The guy makes $250,000 a year. This is in my hypothetical. The guy's name is Brian Malinowski. Completely not a hypothetical. It's complete reality.
Right.
This guy's making $250,000 a year. He's running the Bill Clinton airport thing in Arkansas. He doesn't need to make a buck on the side. He's just likes guns. He's buying them and then selling them at gun shows. It's actually not a crime. And if you did that in Washington, that would be a crime. If you do that in many other states, it's not a crime to do that.
Yeah.
They didn't like the volume that he was doing it. Now, there's no, after you sell this many guns a year, you have committed a crime. When I was a kid, literally, not legal for me to buy guns. I would go to gun shows, buy a gun, and shoot it for the month, go back to the next gun show, sell it if I didn't love it, and then get another one or trade it and get another one. So in the course of a year, I bought and sold and traded over a dozen guns.
Yeah.
That would be, there's not a law against that then, or even in Arkansas when Malinowski was doing that. But the ATF snuck into his house at like 6 o'clock in the morning and shot him. He was breaking no laws. So why is it that the ATF can drive back to their offices without getting shot like they're a bunch of lobster backs going back to Boston after trying to invade Lexington and Concord. Like I think that is our problem right now, is we don't have people that are willing to hunt down the ATF when they are doing those kinds of things.
Well, but
if that's what we're doing,
it's all imaging. Like it's all like how is the issue framed? And currently, people are clickbaity. Like we're in a clickbait society. Yeah. ATF is not on that list. ATF, anti-ATF is more on the 2A side.
And here's the thing is because we were too passive. Here, like we are not following the traditions of our founding fathers. Now, am I advocating for ATF to get shot? Long pause. No, I'm not actually advocating for that, but I'm saying we have people that believe
you're going to lose that battle as well.
Well, if there's enough of us,
right? Well,
here's the thing. Like, look at the Boston Massacre. Look. That was one where they lost there, but then eventually, Sons of Liberty started doing things. Like, at what point do we get pissed and say, you know what? Okay, so we have people that are. How about this? We have people that are in the ATF because right now, the people that are harassing ICE. They are doing salute protocols, which is a way to kind of observe what is going on and report back to an entity. They actually have
a signal network,
a big network where they have many people reporting. So if you look at the people that are on the ground and you X that by 2 or 3 times, they probably have thousands of people that are surveilling all this. And that means that they've got people also on the inside with some of the information that they're getting.
Yeah.
And so why are we not that motivated against things that are actually criminal and evil and immoral, like the ATF, who are assassinating people in their houses in front of their wives and children for doing things that are not crimes?
Right.
Like,
right. But in terms of scale, though, like currently, we're having more instances, because it's a very prescient issue where, we're trying to get illegals off the street. It's not as though ATF is, at least, who knows, because it's not reported. But like,
so right now
it's not happening every other day where you're hearing about these.
It's not, but the big ones that we have in our history are. So FBI, ATF killing Randy Weaver's family, like shooting his 14-year-old in the back.
Right.
Like I know you're the conspiracy guy. I'm the radical, pro gunner guy here. But like,
wait, I'm the conspiracy guy. Should we redo our intro?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Ian, the conspiracy guy.
Josh, the radical, absolutist gun nut. All right.
Well, I just felt like it was time.
We need a darker persuasion.
Exactly. You need to be persuaded of the dark side.
Yeah. And you know that in spite of all this, God is great, beer is good, and the ATF
is crazy.
It's crazy. I'm glad you said crazy instead of what I was gonna say.
So this is from Icicle Brewing in lovely Leavenworth, which. Can you get to Leavenworth? I mean, like
you
the
can.
normal way? Is Highway 2 open?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so they have their dark Persuasion, which is a great beer that you can get in 6-packs, 12-ounce cans. This is a 16-ounce can, and this is classified as a pastry stout. It is. Let's see, it's a limited release Imperial Stout in our dark Persuasion family. It's carefully crafted to evoke decadent flavors of classic espresso delight. So it says Caramel Macchiato Stout is kind of the subtitle. So I don't know. I mean, I like the original. I try to keep Persuasion.
A 6-pack in my fridge. But it's one of those ones that I'll have one a month or something like that. I enjoy it.
It's not one that it's like it's not a daily or a.
I couldn't have
It sits in your gut like a cake.
It does. It really. It's one of the first beers that I smelled and I was like, oh, this is a cake.
Yeah.
But this is, man.
It's got a sweet.
It smells like walking into a coffee shop.
Yeah, it really does. I mean,
or even a
this
bakery.
this is like a latte that I would drink because it's very coffee forward.
Yep.
It's got like back notes of sweetness and of maybe some caramel. Do you say caramel or caramel?
Okay.
Oh.
I actually have thoughts on this.
Okay, wow.
Like long in history of thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I've actually researched caramel.
Nerd alert. Okay.
I don't want to go too much into it because it's actually a little dark.
Oh wow.
It really is. Like it's sad.
All right.
But there's reasons in my life I've looked up the different pronunciations of caramel and caramel, and there's a reason for it. And I can't remember what they are, but they are valid reasons to be different. I mean, like literally in the last 3 months, I refreshed my memory, and apparently I need to refresh it again. But that you asked that, like, it hurt a little bit. I'll tell you offline about it, just because
your countenance went down.
Yeah, just like childhood trauma.
Yes,
but there is a reason. So
There's a darker persuasion.
There's a darker persuasion for caramel versus caramel.
Yeah.
They're two different things. I want to say off the top of my head, and Erin will probably yell at us because she probably knows.
Oh boy!
But I think that
one thing we do produce from this podcast is a lot of women yelling
at us.
Well, at their phone
Yep, yeah, in the car, just going, "No, you idiot!"
Yeah. Or Lou. Lou was really mad at us for, not actually, but
Lou. Lou doesn't get mad. Lou gets.
He said he was yelling at his car stereo when we were trying to come up with. I said, it was Danishes, but I said French. I said a French pastry or something.
French Danish.
Whatever, it's a pastry. It's somewhere over in Europe.
We're Americans. We can't think that far away.
Yeah.
That's more than 3,000 miles.
What does Ron say in Ron Swanson? He's like, anything before 1776 was trash or something like that. He's looking at old Ben and the big clock, and he's like, we have clocks at home. Yeah. What's so amazing?" But this is pleasant for not being barrel aged, and just a.
Oh man! Yeah.
I would say it is less substantive than the original.
Yeah,
it's more.
Yeah.
I don't know. The density of flavor.
A drier finish.
Yeah, drier finish.
Which I actually like a lot.
Which you get, that kind of expresses the coffee.
It does.
Espresso part.
You know what? You would think by the description that this would be sweeter. It's sweet, but
that's why I was hesitant to even get it, because I'm like, ugh, caramel macchiato.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever had a caramel macchiato from like Starbucks, it's like, I mean, I think that was Sean's go-to drink. And it's
like cavity in a cup.
Yeah. Cavity in a cup. Yeah. You might as well just put your teeth right in there.
I mean, I used to get Snickers mochas. And I think I had one sometime like last summer. It's one of those things, like when I found out, like when I started paying attention to calories, I immediately stopped drinking. I want to say it was like for a 16 ounce, maybe it was a 20. It was like 1,600 calories or something. It was crazy. It was like,
when you go to
done with that
16 or 20 ounce and you're just watching them pump of flavor, it's like each pump is like 150 calories.
Yeah. Grosses me out. Ugh.
Yeah. So for context on the Pretti thing, we watched a video where I got it was Mike Rowe, who did Dirty Jobs and stuff. He had reposted it, which I wouldn't call him conservative. He is his movement is about getting Americans back to work and getting the trades jobs filled, which is awesome. He doesn't always speak on political things, but he has people on his show that talk about. Most recently, a guy that did a documentary on how. Childhood the whole childhood vaccine schedule
fantastic.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really engaging people.
He is not conservative, but he's
not afraid to get into those areas.
Yeah, and he's pragmatic and
pragmatic. Yep.
And, which will lead.
There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the liberal ideas are just nonsensical, counterintuitive, not pragmatic,
non-traditional liberal.
Yeah, non-traditional. Yeah. Not a classical liberal. Because I mean,
we're classically liberal.
He talks about a circumstance, in the election before Kennedy dropped out and joined Trump's campaign, where Kennedy actually approached him and asked if he would consider running as vice president. And I agree. I don't see Mike Rowe as fitting that role well. But I like his idea, some of his ideas. But
I would actually like to see him as president, because I agree with everything, but because I think that he would be slow enough in his decision making that a lot would not get done, not because of laziness, but because he just wants to take a reserved approach to many things.
And in his ability to articulate, he actually reminds me of like Reagan and some of his speeches and stuff.
Yep.
But anyway, this guy in this video that Mike Rowe reposted talked about, some issues that he just shot off out of the gate at the very beginning. He said, for instance, for starters, in Minnesota, there's a duty to retreat law, which we can talk about, if that's a good thing or not. Observation versus...
I have opinions.
Observation versus interference. People that say he had the right to carry and he had the right to film. Like, what is the relevance of those statements? And then also, big high-level questions, did his actions seem to be trying to avoid conflict or engage in conflict? Was he observing from a distance, just trying to film things, or was he actually interrupting an ongoing operation? And was he advancing or was he retreating? These are some substantive questions that don't really go after the guy's character. Was he a good guy or not? It just attacked, gets to the heart of the matter. What was actually happening? What are the laws involved? And, ultimately, is this going to be, do you think anybody's going to go to jail for this? Because that's what the mob wants. Yeah. I mean, they want more than that, but at least they want that.
So let's go back to the duty to retreat.
Yeah.
So just to help those that aren't familiar with these terms, in Washington State, we have castle doctrine. And I think that's probably the most common understanding, is basically wherever you are at, as long as you've not broken laws to get there, you have a right to be there. So,
or known as stand your ground, right?
Stand your ground. Yeah, exactly. So, it would go. And also, I think Washington might get specific to, they call it the reasonable man standard, which is a common legal standard for a lot of things. Reasonable, suspicion. What a reasonable officer would do in a situation. All those kinds of things. So, but we'll put that under the castle doctrine tent. That castle doctrine is basically where you're at. You have a right to be, and you can defend yourself there. So if you're in your car, if you are on the street, if you're in your house, if somebody has ill intent and they're coming after you, you have the right as a reasonable man to defend yourself and those around you. And so if somebody's coming at you and they're throwing tennis balls at you, you can't just shoot them. But if they're coming at you, with a baseball bat, you can shoot them. So you don't have to provide you don't have to go, baseball bat to baseball bat with them.
Right.
There's both are lethal.
If you feel like there's a threat to your life, you have
your life or somebody else's close to you. And then the duty to retreat BS is basically you have to try to attempt to run away first.
Yeah.
And is gross. Like, because that assumes that those that are not there, that have time to make a decision without a lethal threat, can then judge you on what you had to do in the middle of a lethal threat.
Yeah.
And so those are the two differences.
Because guess what happens when you retreat? A lot of times your back is exposed to the...
Yeah, absolutely. And
speaking of Mike Rowe, I think he had somebody on recently that was in prison for 20 years essentially for that because of that conflict where there were other things involved in it, but basically it came down to that duty to retreat, and he ended up in prison.
So think about this. Like, if you're not understanding just yet how that works, think about it this way. You're a mother coming out of the grocery store, and you are loading the groceries into your trunk of your car, and you've got your child in the car seat, and somebody comes up and points a gun at you. A guy comes up, points a gun at you, and that means that your duty is then to abandon your child.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. Like that puts you in a situation where you absolutely should not abandon your child. You should stand your ground and smoke that guy.
Yeah,
and so that is the conundrum that is duty to retreat. Is, if somebody comes into your house, you can't protect your family. Your duty is to run away, and so you that means you abandon your family. And so that
because guys have been charged for shooting an intruder. And it's like he was just a 18-year-old kid. It's like, okay, but he was breaking into your house.
He wasn't coming in to ask for a cup of sugar. Okay, right. He was coming in there to do something. And if your family's in there, you better not run away.
Yeah.
If he's coming to take your TV, you don't have a time to interview him. Hey, do you want my TV or do you want my daughter?
What else did you want to take?
Yeah. So no, that guy is not there to do any good. He's not there to. He's not a Mormon to come to tell you about anything.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the difference there, is that duty to retreat versus castle doctrine.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, that's a law in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Minnesota has a lot of problems. But in terms of his disposition, I feel like while I don't agree with, the president's statements and other people who have said, well, what are you doing with a gun and what are you doing with magazines, whatever. Yeah. But like in terms of, I think most people look at this, most reasonable people, whether according to the law or not, but most reasonable people think, well, what are you doing? Guess what? I didn't get unalived today because I didn't go down into get into an officer's face with a camera, with whatever, get in their face and try to intervene in something, you know, like.
I'm not going to judge him by his intent, but I'll judge him by his actions. And his actions showed that he was there to cause a problem. And so if you're there to cause a problem, you have to decide if it's a worthy problem to cause.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like my family in general, we don't go to parades. We don't go to large group events.
Unless they're down by the river.
Unless they're down by the river at our house. We are inviting the group. Mm-hmm. But, there's some confliction in me. Like, I want to go to a parade because I want to, it's 4th of July or whatever, and I want to like be patriotic. And
don't go to Seattle if it's a parade because you might see some nuts.
Yeah, you might see something swinging in the wind you don't want to see. But like, if I'm going to go to those things, I have carried. You could probably count into less than weeks. You probably count into less than 2 weeks since the theater shooting in Colorado. So whatever year that was, I don't know, 2014, something like that. Mm-hmm. I carry every day, and that has escalated more since 2020 in what I carry, and so I'm not opposed to carrying wherever, but like I also make decisions on like if I'm going to go into a group or into a crowd, I'm not going to go and like poke any law enforcement in the eyes.
Yeah. What are you going to provoke?
Yeah.
Like your responsibility only increases, and I've heard this argument as well. Your responsibility only increases when you carry a firearm. Like,
and that's the thing, and I've probably talked about it before because it is such a big thing. But like, when I was I got my license when I was 17. When I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, not even 20. If somebody was like, I used to drive. I used to drive pretty aggressively, and so there'd be times where there'd be a little bit of road rage going on, either on my end or somebody else's end. As soon as I started carrying a gun, it became this thing in my mind, like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because then I'm complicit. Even if I defend myself, I am complicit in getting that person pissed off enough to want to attack me. And so I changed my whole mindset. I became more responsible once I started carrying a gun. I became less interested in being in areas where I need to use it. Like, that's the interesting thing about it, is the people that carry a gun typically are going to be the people that are going to be not going into an environment where they need to use it. And
and that's why, like, a lot of those targets aren't neutralized pretty quickly, because either guns aren't allowed there, in terms of like actual enforcement, like at stadiums or, those aren't typically where it is. But like even at the mall, that one dude shot across the way. But a lot of times, like at parades, where somebody's plowing through a crowd or something, a lot of times there's not a lot of armed people there because they're like, no, I'm going to avoid that. But if you had been engaged in that road rage with a gun, a headline might read something like "Weapons Cache, Secret Bunker Found in Granite Falls, Home of Conservative Activist."
Conservative activist podcaster,
right?
With 3 viewers.
Hey, you don't need much to be called a conservative activist.
No, you don't.
If you had liked anything, if you had pressed the like button on anything that Trump or anything connected to him had said in the last 5 years, then you're a conservative activist.
Yeah.
And it's from an article that is from California, where the guy had a amazing stash of ammo of 10,000 rounds and armor-piercing bullets. Guess what, guys? I have armor-piercing bullets.
Yeah.
Like,
if grandpa, like literally your grandpa, with his 30-06, with designed to shoot a deer or a bear. Those are armor-piercing rounds.
Yep. No, but this guy had tactical gear.
Tactical gear.
He was ready to take down a bank.
Yeah, we looked at the picture earlier. It said villain on it, just so you know.
Yeah. So, like, were they pulling a random image or, like, who knows? But just a joke. Basically, the guy, it sounds like they just wanted a reason to go after him. And he's being charged for having a ghost gun, a machine gun, which could just be, that ghost gun could just have a third hole drilled in it, and they're calling that a machine gun. Yeah,
so it might not even have that third hole drilled. It might just be a gun that's fully semi-automatic and is probably doesn't work very well.
Or maybe it has a force reset trigger, and they're calling that a machine gun. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's finding because this was like through a culvert in a underground or something.
He had an underground,
that.
he had a 100-foot culvert that led to the bunker.
Yeah, you sent me a Instagram reel or something from a distillery that found a 1903 as like the model, and because it was also made in 1903. It looks like kind of like a 1911, but for those that are gun nerds, but it's like a 380 or something like that. That was found in basically a drainage pipe. They had so this is a distillery. It's got a cistern or a well or something that's underground, and they just happened to find it in a drain pipe, and it was probably put there 100 years ago.
Yeah,
because I think this had been like a building or something that was used during the Prohibition, and this is like just go into the deep, dark world of Gun Guy. Like, this is like every gun guy's dream.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Like, to find like some old piece of history like
connected
that is
to
amazing.
history,
Yeah.
you know, prohibition type stuff.
Totally.
You're just like, sweet.
Free gun. Like, it is crazy. Yeah. So like, there's that. I mean, and there's, I was telling Ian before we hit record that there's a story of this old lady that found a STG 44. I think it stands for like Sturmgewehr 44. It's like the precursor. It's like a German precursor to the AK-47 and a lot of the H&K guns. It was stamped metal, fully automatic gun. This old lady finds it in her attic or crawl space or husband's closet after he passes away, and this is like in Wisconsin. She brings it to the police because I don't know what to do with this gun, you know, and it turns out like she was a felon for touching it, but they were, you know, at least decent law enforcement officers, and that they didn't charge her for it or shoot her or her dog like the ATF would, because they hate God and they hate freedom. But they sent it off to a museum, and it's a museum piece now. It's like $250,000 machine gun, you know.
Wow.
Like, I don't even care about the value of it. Just the sentimental value of it is actually important. Even if it was never fired, like finding the bullet for those, that's not a common bullet. I can't even remember what it is. It's not something that many other guns, if any other guns, ever shot.
Well, in that raid that I'm talking about in California, it says the officers, they recovered 13 firearms, including 3 AR-15 style assault rifles, whatever that is, one of which was a ghost gun without a serial number, a sawed-off shotgun, and 2 firearms reported stolen, one in 2016, one in 1978.
That is old, but
they said this guy was
10-year-old standards.
They said this guy was 40 years old, so it was stolen like when he was born or
before he was born.
Before he was born? Yeah.
I was born in 78. So and I was 40 years old 7 years ago.
Yeah. So it's like, when he was 7, like he...
Yeah. That's proof that, you know, pre-embryonic.
Yeah.
You're still
like it was reported stolen.
My grandfather stole this. I stole this from my grandfather. I'm passing it on to you, son.
And does it actually matter? Like, if it was reported stolen in 78, that doesn't mean it hasn't changed hands since then.
Yeah.
Like, it could be reported stolen, and you do a, you know, Marysville Safeway parking lot exchange, you know, with some guy, and it never gets reported anywhere.
Totally.
Like, how would you know it's reported stolen?
Yeah.
But, I mean, crazy things happen.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that he obtained that immorally, just illegally.
I mean, how did that woman obtain that whip in the Safeway parking lot?
They need to have a license for whip use in public.
I did this video of this lady because I was just there to get some ice, and not that type of ice. And I got a whole lot more than I was asking for. This lady, like, first just walking around with a whip, and then she got on her e-bike and was like whipping as she rode her bike. And then by the end of the video, she's whipping at the branches.
Oh man, you've got to check out Ian's video on this. It is hilarious.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people just comment. I think they either they look at it because what the heck? Why is this person whipping a whip? But what grabs a lot of people have mentioned, like the timing of the whip and the crack in the song. Like
it is perfect.
Apparently that attracted a lot of people.
How did you do that?
Just clipping and editing. Like I just looked for I had a Whip It song in mind, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. This would work.
And so okay.
Yeah, and just like
because it was so perfect. It was
break
just,
the clips down, and I'm like it's not so much
crack that whip.
Exactly. With video stuff like that, it's not so much if you actually see the whip crack. It's does your mind think of it cracking right when the sound makes it. Because a lot of times in the actual video that I did, like it cracks after the clip is already changed.
Don't break it for me. This is it's perfection.
Yeah. But who knows, guys? Keep keep your eyes peeled in a Safeway parking lot because who knows what's going to happen.
Yep, and keep your keep a gun on you, and don't go into crowds where you want to mess with law enforcement.
Well, yeah, and the last thing I'll say, I guess, on that is like, hey, both the officer and the citizen both have responsibilities.
Yeah,
and they both have rights, but rights without like responsibilities is not liberty. Like that's just inviting chaos. Like the officer has a right to conduct his operation. He also has a right to protect himself as a citizen. So does the citizen. But does the citizen want to put himself in harm's way by imposing on this operation? It is the cost of that worth what it's gonna what it's gonna cost him. So like make wise decisions for protecting yourself, your family. Consider like even the legal consequences after the fact. You could be totally justified and then spend a long time defending yourself.
I mean that's a big one. Is when you actually know the laws and know what cost you're willing to accept. That's a very big one. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, and you knowingly or unknowingly accept those by carrying a gun. Yeah, and it's a good weight, but you should feel more of it if you don't know that weight exists.
And some people just feel differently. Like some people don't understand what we do, and I'm not worried about that. Like I also don't feel like everybody needs to be convicted the same way that I do.
Sure. So. You mean interjecting about the ATF every 3 seconds?
Sure, 9/11 guy.
All right. Hey, once a year. Okay. Well, weld that defiance and obedience into one inseparable whole. Get after it. Do what God is calling you to do in your sphere. And we'll see you next time. And have some darker persuasion.
So good.
Thanks for listening to the Contraritics. Tune in next time for another dose of guns, beer, and contrarianism.